Wait.
Oh, poppers. Fuck. What's going on, everyone? My name is Specs, like the Spectacles, and this is the Spektakulor Podcast. I am joined here by some members of the Zombiecorps. We go ahead and sound off going to my left. Go ahead.
And over here is El Squacho. I want to say howdy, people, and give you an enormous battle cry.
I'm so scared now. I think I have to leave.
You sit down.
It's Captain Falco of the Zombiecorps, of course. And to my immediate left.
Hi.
Really?
Thanks.
No, it is.
Do you?
No.
No.
No, it's just Iggy. Hi, everyone.
God, man.
That's how I always am.
Well.
Not wrong.
You're in a podcast though now. You got to emote.
Well, even in like the Grand Geekery's like podcast, I'm still like, hey guys, how you doing?
Well, I guess it's do you, baby.
Prove me wrong.
Do you, baby? It's a do you.
Microphone's close to your face on that one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Guess I'll.
Congratulations.
Guess I'll just.
Oh my God! Calm down now. Calm down. You.
There we go.
And
Jesus Christ.
And now I have something.
Inanimate object in your ass. It's okay.
Ooh, hello. wrong topic today. Today we're going to try something different here compared to like video games. We're going to talk about video games and other scenarios that go along with it. Ergo, the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
The game that came along with that, well, many games, but for today's topic is Resident Evil 2, the remake. I understand you guys have played this. How is it?
I can honestly say this is the standard in which remakes should honestly be done. It is it is pretty much fully ground up with a new engine, new hallways, new things, new weapon modifications, like everything. Yes, a lot of it is still, well, obviously the characters are still the same, with the exception of a couple things. People have been remodeled, but the game is absolutely beautiful. It plays extremely well. It's definitely a step up from the tank controls that the Resident Evil 2 used to have. Mm-hmm. Mind you, the tank controls kind of make it a different type of puzzle game, but the new way, the way they run this game makes it work so well. Mr. X is very, very terrifying. It makes me worried about a Resident Evil 3 remake and trying to deal with a nemesis that has the same type of system, but except he can run and has weapons,
Wonderful. No, see, when you said Mr. X, it just reminded me of what we were talking about earlier. Just
not like that. I mean, the tyrant, as he's just named now, although he's technically like the tyrant 103 or whatever in Resident Evil lore. The point is that he's terrifying. A nemesis would be just as terrifying.
Don't die on us.
Yeah, don't die yet. Don't turn to a zombie yet. Hold on. And the game is quite amazing. It does have a couple of things that I'm not completely high on, but it's not enough that it makes the rest of the game like crap. It's just a couple of things where I'm like, well, it could have been a little different, or it could have been like whatever. And it also makes me wonder about a couple lore questions, but again, it's like a bar of gold with a couple of specks of dirt on it. You kind of just brush off the dirt, and who cares? In the end. So that's my opinion on it. I've been playing the most of it. Just Iggy's played it.
I concur.
You concur?
Yes.
What input do you have to put into this?
That I concur.
That's it?
Yeah, some more description, my friend.
I like how much detail they put into like the characters, like facial wise and stuff. It's
like expression.
Yeah, dude. Like if you like take your time and looking at the models, you're like, God damn, they must have put in like so much damn work on it. Because they're just like the guns too. They're pretty nice.
The sounds of the guns.
The sound of the guns, depending on which gun you have, some are really good and some aren't. But at the same time, it's kind of like you're more focused in on freaking out.
Everything around you than what's going on with the graphics.
But I will say that with what he touched on with the characters is that some of the animations and some of the way they look, there are times where I pass the camera in front of like Claire or Leon at a certain angle, and I really almost for a split second, kind of have a hard time realizing that it's a fake image because of how well it is. Not always. Mind you, there's a lot of times where you look at that and you know it's not.
Yeah.
But if it was just an image, it was just still like that, both Leon, both Claire, Ada, really well. More well than I expected. There's one scene in particular where she is in the sewers and she takes off like her coat and stuff, and it focuses on her face for a minute. And it really looks like it could be a film.
Wow.
They're getting really crazy about it. I'm really happy that they're using this new engine for more than just Resident Evil 7, obviously.
Okay. Do you think with the remakes that they're going along with this, do you think with any further games they're going to make it look like that, where it's more realistic, or do you think it's just going to be the way it was before and just better graphics?
Well, one of them's going to have a live action, so I've heard.
Please no.
What is?
Yeah.
Oh, that they're remaking live action Resident Evils.
Yeah.
They said that the Netflix may get a series on it, which I'm okay with.
I see it as a series. I can see it as a series.
Right, which I'm okay with as long as I stay as far away as possible from Paul W.S. Anderson's thing. I need it as far gone as possible. If they want to go in a completely different route, kind of like how Paul W.S. Anderson's thing started, then that's okay. But as soon as you start mixing that stuff, it's gonna
it's gonna go somewhere else.
Right.
Okay.
You're gonna get him started.
As far as
don't get him started.
As far as the question goes, I think the newer Resident Evil, whatever it may be, Resident Evil 8, or if they have been working on a 3 remake, like it's been rumored, it's going to probably be like that, a little bit more realistic, more things how are going, how it looks. I doubt they would downgrade it at this point. The only real question I have is that if they are moving it to Resident Evil 8 and not remaking 3 first, if it's going to be like 7 or the remake, or is it going to be like 6?
With all the sliding and everything?
Well, I meant more action oriented.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Like 5, still a really good game, but it definitely wasn't the scary like Resident Evil game that I wanted. And obviously the last 2, 7 and the remake made up for that.
Right.
But 6 was definitely not.
Okay, fair enough. So let's go ahead and jump into the what-if scenarios. If the real world, quote-unquote, were to happen.
Yes.
What would happen in a zombie apocalypse? What would you consider as a zombie apocalypse? Let's go with like one person at a time, and then I'll go throw out my questions from there. So let's start off with you, Squatch. Go ahead and tell us what you would think would happen within a zombie apocalypse.
Well, at first it wouldn't hit the news, so it would kind of be a little discreet, and then it'll probably pop up like within the next couple hours, and then it'll probably break onto the news and be like, oh, there's a zombie apocalypse. But, the people that are ready, and the people that aren't, well,
are dead.
For that. Yeah, pretty much.
It's interesting and straight to the point.
yeah. I like how what is the discovery of the zombie apocalypse? Like, oh look, a zombie apocalypse. How neat. How grand.
I have one question before I do do you think it would spread far enough? Or do you think it would be like a citywide thing, sort of like
Resident Evil?
Or Dead Rising.
Or
Days Gone.
I think Days Gone is full, isn't it? We don't know yet.
No, we don't know yet. It may have already happened, or it's just...
Or
it's at.
Is it... Well, Resident Evil was worldwide, right?
The movies. Not the games.
We're going game-wise. We're not going by movie-wise. We're going by game-wise.
In game-wise, it was always in specific isolated areas, whether it be a town or a county or a city or in certain
Well, at first it would start off as a town.
Well, first it was a mansion. It was the laboratories got infected.
True.
And it was forests. And then it was the town. Do you think it would spread farther than the town at first? Or do you think military and police would eventually kind of contain it enough?
I don't know. It could happen it could be to a point where it breaks beyond that, but...
Well, that's why the questions are being asked. Like, what would you think? What is your... Let's go with quote unquote your perfect zombie apocalypse. Your dream zombie apocalypse.
Government's dead. Everything's dead.
God damn.
Straight to the point.
You know,
no survivors. Everyone is screwed. Got it.
Even though I'm not sure completely of your method, at least it's to the point. I get it.
Okay, we're going to switch it off over here. Go ahead.
I think it would start, actually, I don't know if you guys have ever seen, I know you probably have seen The Walking Dead, but have you ever seen Fear of the Walking Dead?
Yes.
Okay, I think it would honestly start kind of the same way. The homeless, the people that are more susceptible to getting sick would probably turn first, and you'd hear those stories of like homeless people attacking people. And at first it just seems like crazy freaking homeless people, and it slowly spreads that way because, you know, that's it.
Yeah.
It goes from one to one. Worse is that the infected would then crowd hospitals, clinics, and possibly police stations trying to search for aid. And in that moment, when nobody understands what's going on, it will then infect a lot of people in those areas. And those are major issues. I think at some point it becomes a big enough issue that the military steps in and could blockade a city, like Raccoon City or something like that. I don't see it going worldwide because depending on what the zombies are like, if we're talking traditional Resident Evil zombies or stuff like that, then they're slow, they're stupid, they are very dangerous still, especially if they spread really well at first, whether it be through a vector of air or water or whatnot. And I think if that's the case, though, I think the military would be able to quarantine enough, and you'd probably have to napalm the area or whatever. But it's not perfect, obviously, and a city, depending on, especially on where the city is. Like, if you're taking Raccoon City like its own standalone city in the middle of wherever it's supposed to be, you know...
Bumfuck nowhere.
Yeah, right. Well, it's hypothesized it's in, like, several different states, including Colorado. And if it's in the middle of nowhere, you can kind of isolate it a little better. But if it's Los Angeles with millions of exit points, you can only coordinate so much to cut off everything. Mm-hmm. So, it makes it extremely hard to keep things contained. Even then, even if it's a city in the bumfuck nowhere, you're going to have stragglers that are going to get out. Obviously, everything contains closer to the city, but you're going to have a couple zombies that probably wander out that, you know, military isn't blockading. They're not going to blockade every single inch of around the city.
True.
They probably have watchtowers. If you have a forest around your city on top of it, like Raccoon does, then it's even a bigger problem. Because animals and stuff just move through there all the time. You can't see it. It's too thick. So,
so you believe the virus is not only susceptible to humans, it's susceptible to animals?
It could be. It depends on what the virus is. If it is a hypothesis strained, mutated strain of rabies, like a lot of people are saying that it's possible, like the Rage virus that was in 28 days later. Yeah.
Good movie.
Like 28 days later, 28 weeks later. Those are both... I liked weeks as well. I liked both of them. But if it's like that, then it could potentially jump to specific animals. Okay. It's not going to jump to everything, obviously. Damn it, he's infected. Put him down. It's not going to be able to jump to certain things, obviously. But I think certain ones could be infected. Whether or not they're affected the same way that humans are.
Yeah.
Whole nother discussion. Dogs could probably, if their cats' immune systems are really messed up, they probably just die from it, stuff like that. But I don't think it would get to a global scale without some major wrongdoing or like multi-thing attack. Like it'd have to go off in a bunch of places at the same time for the military to be completely bum scrambled to do it. Yeah. Even then, if you release it in a place like Africa or something where there isn't as much military presence or whatnot, it may be able to spread farther. But also,
also not a whole lot of medical either.
Right, right. However, in the middle of Africa, you have less people, in between towns and stuff. There's not a lot of congregation in portions of the country. Right. It really would just... Right. Well, parts of the countries are continents. And it would really just depend on where the virus would be in there. If it was in the middle of Johannesburg, which is a giant city in the African continent, it may spread really well. You never know. I think so. I can't remember exactly, but I know it's...
We'll look it up. We'll put it in the video. Okay. Let's go on to Iggy here. Yes. What is your perfect zombie apocalypse?
A perfect zombie apocalypse?
Yeah, like your dream zombie apocalypse. Like if you were to want the zombie apocalypse to happen, and you want it in your eyes and your vision, what would it be?
I think I would like it to. I guess.
It's all right. It's yours.
And there it is.
I mean, I guess it would be like a global pandemic, but then if that would happen, it would have to be more like the flus, like the simian flu in War of the Apes, or the dollar flu from The Division.
Okay.
Where there's like it's an airborne thing, and if it hits, like if it's from a major city, then people are constantly traveling around, like in LA or New York.
So it just keep going on over between flights or
people like just visiting.
Okay.
We're going back, but then they wouldn't know, especially since like a virus usually takes some time to
get noticed.
Yeah, to manifest.
Yeah.
So by then it will be like a little too late, and might be just spread worldwide.
Okay. Now within your worlds, in your zombie apocalypses, would you want them to be either A, slow zombies, B, fast zombies, or C, hybrid?
Depends.
Well, that's what I'm asking.
Well, if it was slow, if it was like how Falco said that, if it was like Africa, where everything's basically spread apart, it would be pretty much spaced out. We'd be able to go wherever we want. Mm-hmm. But if it's something like Los Angeles, it's a big old claustrophobic.
True, but what I'm trying to say is within your worlds, if you were to combine them all at once, besides saying who would win or whatnot, what can you guys agree on in your worlds? Would you, like I said, would you have the 3, or would it be the deterioration of option C, where it starts off slow and then the more hungry they get, they go faster, or vice versa? What?
I actually think it should be the opposite way.
Which is?
The slower they are.
No. What I think it is person bit, right? Dies relatively whatever, right?
Yeah.
If he's just bit and he's just been infected and he just turned into a zombie, he's mostly unaffected at the moment. Nothing started to rot, anything like that. He should be fast, he should be mobile, he should be able to run.
Okay.
But with a zombie, obviously, over time, things degrade, a lot of things, right? So over time, the zombie gets slower, starts to lose skin, muscle mass, stuff like that, becomes a slow zombie. So a freshly bitten, normal zombie, at first, could be fast, and then over the course of a month or two, as skin rots off and muscles rot, they become the slow Walking Dead that you will, of old.
We see, yeah.
It would be a logical conclusion on a virus like that, because on a rabies virus or something, right? They'd be not necessarily dead; they'd be alive, just really messed up and really freaked out,
really aggressive,
whatever, right? So they would be fast-moving regular people, but obviously as the virus goes on and keeps them alive when they're not supposed to be, and you start losing stuff and everything, yeah, they're going to start slowly.
Yeah, because at that point, those are infected and not zombies. Because in order to be a zombie, you have to be dead to come back reanimated.
Right, and at this point, I think an infected person compared to a zombie is more of a realistic thing. These guys, the whole global pandemic kind of thing, and slowly taking over, and government goes down and stuff. I'm looking at it in a more realistic tone.
Okay.
And I do see it Iggy was saying, was if you are in a major plane and you have flights and stuff going and stuff like that, you may spread it out much farther than that. But unlike simian flu or whatever, where they just die and they spread it, if infected people may, turn on the plane, may bite the pilot, plane may go down, and even though there were zombies on it, there's not anymore. They're all dead anyways. The trauma on that is too high, even for a zombie to survive. But I feel with some of that, it would be like that. Even with major contingencies, I think people would start to notice a little sooner, because depending on how your thing spreads, if it is 28 days later and you've got 30 seconds, then yeah, you might be screwed. But if it's a infection like Resident Evil or something like that, depending on the person's immune system or whatnot, it may not spread that. May not take
hold.
It may not take hold for one, and two, it may take longer to turn.
Okay.
So people getting sick and going to the hospital as they get, going on may give enough sign to put them down or whatever the case is. That is if they don't storm a hospital and turn the whole staff into ones just like them.
Yeah, true. Do you guys agree with what he's saying, or do you have any other insight?
I agree.
Okay.
That's pretty much true.
Okay.
That's it.
So you see that do you see that happening in the real world? Let me add that. Do you see what he's inputting happening now? Because I want to see your opinions about that first before I bring up the next thing in regards to that real world aspect.
Well, as far as real world, who knows? It could probably be.
Well, in our real world, it would happen like that, and that's if, there would be a bit of an alarm because of, like, the whole, like, post 9/11, environment that we have right now and all that. Yeah, there would be. But I feel like our government would just take a little too long, too late for him to catch on.
I kind of agree with that. I think it wouldn't necessarily, like, the government might take a little too long, but it might not necessarily be the government taking too long. I think it would just spread too fast.
No.
So you think it'll be an outbreak and it will go too fast to contain?
That's possible. Just because, again, first thing you think in real life is not that the guy's a zombie. You just think he's a crazy bastard who just tried to bite you.
Yeah, because you don't know what's going on. You just go by what the environment shows on what civilization has showed you, where it's like, you see someone freaking out, they're on drugs, or they're sick, or they're messed up in the head, and that's how you think of it until it becomes too late. Then you're a snack meal on the side.
Right, it isn't until they're right up in your face where you notice they're missing their whole face or something that you realize that this is not normal and something is very wrong.
Yeah.
And we're not like, unfortunately, even though we're, even though it's possible, not everybody's like, Claire Redfield, where you're the normal college student or the normal guy that can just go through all this shit and just be like, oh, this was horrible, but I'll be okay. And now I'm going to keep my life together to go.
Yeah.
Not everybody can do that. Obviously, especially with some of the stuff in like Resident Evil or whatever, going through that, like that could break a person really, really heavily.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's true. Because I forgot, but I'm pretty sure I read it. I'm pretty sure you're the one that told me, Captain, where they found a virus that is similar to that of the zombie effect on insects, where it's a bacterium or an actual virus for insects that takes over their cerebrum, and then it uses their host as another bait system.
Oh, you're talking about the fungi.
The cordyceps fungi?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're the one that told me that says they're trying to engineer that to use it against.
Oh right, yeah. I remember they were trying to use it. They were trying to do it because of the way it works, because it would help against. I think it was like a brain thing. But that's really dangerous because if you can spread it to humans, then you got all the problems.
You basically got a whole new problem.
Well, I think because that's the whole point of The Last of Us, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what it spreads. However, actually, me and Joseki were talking about the other day when we were talking about it. That if it did spread to humans, it's not like we would become zombies. We'd probably just be more vectors of the virus in general.
It'd just be a host for them.
We'd probably die in a corner, and then it would spread out and take whatever, and we'd just spread spores.
Well, if it's the cordyceps fungi, we wouldn't die in a corner. We would try to climb like a roof or a building, or be on top of a tree or something. And then like as soon as we're like dying, we spread the shit. It propagates everywhere.
Ooh.
So it's like a mixture between The Last of Us and Mel Year 5's Parasite.
Yeah. Oh my god!
Because you want to be outside and have things.
The vocal cord parasite or the Wolbachia?
The Wolbachia makes it so that.
Oh right.
So it's the vocal parasite, because the vocal parasite wants to get outside so it can be eaten by birds and spread.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But with the cordyceps fungi, it doesn't need the bird as a vector. You just go up to a high enough place, die, spread your spores everywhere, and the cycle continues.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because the spores just get carried by the wind.
Yeah.
So yeah, it would be like that.
And a fungus is really hard to cure sometimes.
Okay, with your zombies inside your worlds, if we can agree on one world or not, would you want to just be them, the zombies, or would you want it to be their mutations, like how they have in other games?
I'd go with mutations.
You want to have mutations?
Yeah.
And anyone else? Mutations? Non-mutations?
I would, in my mind of directing a perfect zombie movie or game, yeah, I would have mutations. In real life, I'm not sure that would be necessarily as possible. unless you really like, unless the virus that was like infecting people was really messing with RNA or something, sort of like like we were just watching it with the tree, mutation, simply makes hands look like it, stuff like that.
Tree Man.
Right, like that.
Tree Man syndrome.
So unless the virus was able to screw with people like that, in that type of sense, and make that go crazy, and then you have like over mutations, I don't see a whole lot more happening. Unless the virus is super immune to other issues, then I guess you could have stuff with no skin walking around like completely much of an issue. I guess it really just depends again. If it is like the rabies virus, where the host has to be still pretty much alive, or if it is more of like a mixture or something, kind of keeping it mostly basically dead, but still up enough to be moving around. So it really just depends. I would, if it was my game though, yes, I'd have mutations. But in real life, I don't think that's...
Yeah, like the real world.
I don't, in real world, I'm not sure. I'm not sure that's a possibility. Like,
okay.
not to the degree that you see in like Resident Evil or you see The Last of Us, and they've got the big, really big dudes who can yeah, they're going to be big dudes like that, but not completely like that have all the super strength to like rip things apart. No, they're just going to be bigger dudes with, same thing as a bodybuilder or something.
Okay. What about you, Iggy?
No, I think I would like mutations, I guess.
You want to have mutations?
Yeah.
Okay, so why mutations? I want to hear from both of you. Why mutations?
Well, technically, when it comes to just being a zombie, it's pretty much you're pretty much a dead person, being reanimated. But as far as mutations go, you're slowly turning into it,
Okay.
So you'd still be somewhat. You could say you could be somewhat human, but yet somewhat zombie. I know it's not.
It's just a weird way around you into it, but I get it.
So you would the longer you stay the zombie, or the longer your corpse is still a zombie, you feel like the mutations would set in faster?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, would this be based on the virus, or would this be based on the environment, certain elements?
No, there's a lot of things to take in. I mean, it could be the weather. It could be the way your body's reacting to the virus. It could be heck. It could be a lot of things.
Okay.
So,
okay. What do you think, Iggy? What do you think? Do you agree, or do you feel like it's a different aspect of mutation?
I think it would be a little different.
Different how?
I don't know. I think for me it would be like, if you're going to have some sort of mutation, it would be like it's the virus trying to survive inside like a host, but there's that instinct of self-preservation, and I feel like it wouldn't happen like drastically like it does in the video games, but I think it would happen in a period of like, I don't know, thousands of years, where the virus has like a chance to naturally evolve.
Okay. So
it would add like certain things to its host as well to make sure that it propagates a lot better.
Okay.
But like I said, it wouldn't be anything like the video games. It's like where it's like, oh, you've been there for like 2 months. Now you're like a whole completely different kind of species almost.
Okay, so if I were to put it into standards of video games, what kind of mutation would it be? Would you want it to be like Left 4 Dead, where it's like a substantial change, or would it be like Resident Evil, where not only is it a substantial change, but it changes their whole outlook of everything, like the liquors and the other, like the IVs in Resident Evil 2?
I would put it more in the terms of, and still in a Resident Evil game, but it's more of the T-Abyss virus.
Okay, can you put more into that?
Well, if you played Resident Evil Revelations, which is where it's from, it's a virus that made like the fish, or I think, it was, as the name suggests, it was a thing that they found deep inside the Mariana Trench and all that, or other trenches. I don't exactly remember, but it was a thing that was mostly for survival, and it was almost how do you say it? It was almost symbiotic.
Okay.
It was almost symbiotic to the virus in the house for them to survive in such like harsh environments.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I feel like, considering how like our world is like
Changing?
yeah, but it's changing like a lot drastic than like the natural world. I feel like it would take some time for it, and if it's not stopped before it just takes all over the world, I feel like that would be the natural course of how the virus would mutate.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
yeah.
All right. That sounds like a fun time.
Yeah, it wouldn't be necessarily be more like, Left 4 Dead, where it just be, the human killing machine, but more of a survival aspect for the virus itself. In summary, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. So, in regards to these plans of your dream apocalypse, like say the apocalypse happened right now, be it whichever outcome happens, what is your game plan? Considering where we're at, location disclosed to ourselves here, what is your game plan in survival? We'll start off there and then go off as a group thing for the next question. Starting with you, Squatch.
Okay. Well,
Unless you don't want to go first and you want someone else to go first.
no, I can handle it.
Okay.
The way that I can do it, I could basically try to see how hopefully the virus hasn't spread as fast as if it was an outbreak or not.
Okay.
So basically, try to get as far away from it as possible. I mean, even if it is meaning leaving the city,
Leaving town.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
So I'd be willing to take the sacrifices for it. So
Sacrifices as in just leaving everything behind?
pretty much.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Anything else to that, or you feel like that's basically the plan?
That's
Just get out of town. I'm out of here. All y'all bitches, I'm out.
Yeah, quickly fade away. I believe in myself.
He's going back to his home planet. Oh my god. Okay. Iggy, Captain Falco.
Do you want to go first or do you want me?
You go first.
All right.
Because mine's going to be like the weird, because I probably thought about this more than once.
I know, that's why I want you to go first.
Okay.
So you need more time to think. Got it.
Okay. Two ways of this. And one way is, yes, if we find out early, then it's me and grabbing whoever I can and getting out as far as possible.
Okay.
Whether or not that's possible is a whole other question. I think the easiest exit point would probably be... I think the better exit point would be to the south, down towards San Diego,
Okay.
for 3 reasons. And you'll understand why when I get to it. 1, there's going to be a lot of people trying to leave Los Angeles or go towards whatever. So if it's right here, they may be heading out. They may be heading out to the desert and heading towards Las Vegas, something like that. You're going to head out that way. So you're going to run into a lot of traffic that way. If you take the 5 south or whatever, you may be able to get out. Yes, it will probably still be bumpy, but that. 2, you are heading to a major military installation. You're heading to Camp Pendleton that has weapons, that has military-grade people that may be, at this point, trying to fight the zombies. Or
Okay.
whatever. Or setting up a checkpoint.
In case our listeners haven't noticed, we live in Southern California.
Well,
Yeah.
and so I've said it on ours enough times. I figured it was like.
But just to elaborate, we'll
Just to
put
clarify,
like
just to
where.
clarify.
Right. So that's another thing, right? So you have a military point. If the Marines are in any mobility to take care of this or anything like that, or to give shelter or to protect people, that would be a major place to go. Last but not least, if the country itself is infected, you can run to the Mexican border
Okay.
to get out of the country. Whether or not, depending on how bad Mexico is at the time, is an upgrade, who the fuck knows? But worst came to worst, you could always Once you got down to San Diego and saw how bad it was, you could always take the roads to Arizona or whatever. So you have another way out. And down there, you're going to have less people to deal with than up here. Not that much less, but less.
Less enough.
Right, and especially when you start going left into the east into desert towns.
That's if you get past TJ.
Well, I'm not just saying Mexico. I mean, like, if you get down to San Diego and you can't get across the border, or they're just as bad as we are, then you start heading east. Yeah, and if you can get past TJ, great. If you're in Mexico, cool. Whatever. I'm just saying, like...
Arriba! No, just kidding.
That's one way. That's one way. That's the way I've taken with Squatcho's thing, is getting and running and taking whatever you can. However,
okay,
if we are like normal populace who doesn't understand what's fully going on, by the time we try to leave, it's already messed up, and there's not a whole lot to do. What you probably want to do, in my suggestion, and this is going to be weird, but I have reasons, obviously, we go down the street to the Home Depot.
Okay.
What? Well, you're laughing at me.
I know where this is going.
Why?
Just say it.
Go down the street to the Home Depot, okay? The place has supplies for building.
Okay.
Which, yes, because I'm sure he's going to laugh at this, because I'm sure this is probably... Yes, we can make our death bus if necessary. But that's not the case. That's not the full case. But that is something that you want to take into consideration.
Okay.
To get a vehicle and fucking beef that thing up as much as possible to just clear roads. But it also has makeshift home weapons. You have hammers, you have chainsaws, you have stuff like that. Specific things you can use as weapons. Yes, you don't have firearms, but
it's good enough.
Well, I'm gonna say not only that, it's good enough for now. It's good enough for civilians who don't know how to use firearms, and it doesn't attract as much noise. It doesn't attract as much attention because you're using things that are close by. Yes, it sucks because you have to be close to it, but if you're using a big giant, like, freaking, I don't know, really sharp hoe, you know, you can't...
It's enough. It's a bludgeoning weapon, so it's a edged end of the hoe, so it just uses enough to get it right there.
Right, and in the Home Depot itself, there's going to be some food supplies, not a lot, just a little bit, snacks, stuff like that. But in our case, the Home Depot is across the street from 2 fast food restaurants. It'd be enough for the moment to salvage whatever you can get for at least a little bit. Even if
barbecues over there at Home Depot, we could cook it up.
Right. Like,
they do have grills, yes.
Yeah. There's grills, stuff like that. There's
propane.
I'm sure there's propane. I'm sure there's we things like that.
Yeah, we got it.
I'm sure there's enough things that you can use to light on fire in it.
Yeah,
like, that's a big
wood everywhere.
It is a big location to try and defend, but you have enough supplies to basically block all the doors. That's the major point. Is that
one aisle of all wood.
Yeah.
No, I mean literally. You could just board up every fucking thing, and say even the zombies start to get past that. Now you have materials. If you really look, I'm sure you probably have some welding materials and stuff in there too. You could probably fucking just... You could literally just take a giant amount of cement with a forklift and push it up against the door.
Yep.
Like,
not even like made cement, just a sack of dry cement.
Yeah,
that would be first step. After that, we have to think of much larger plans and trying to figure out. I would say at that point we try and initiate the original plan of getting out by going south, but again, it depends on how bad the roads are and whatnot, and that's when the death bus comes in. that's when other things come in to try and do that. If we have to stay there and get stuck for a while, we got to start considering cars or vehicles to move around enough. Gas is going to run out eventually. We'd have to probably...
make ours somehow?
Well, I'm going to say you'd probably have to switch over to electric cars. And
if there's any electricity?
Use whatever you can. Home Depot has generators.
Which we need gas for.
Right. But they also have solar panels. So if you can figure that out as well, you can also make that. Mind you, you're not going to just figure that shit out really quickly. But now, during a zombie apocalypse, it's not like you got anything better to do other than survive. So you have time to try and figure this out. Again, Home Depot is not the long-term plan. I don't plan on living in Home Depot for the rest of my life. It's not like Dawn of the Dead. We're going to hold up in a mall and sit there for months, because even the malls are going to run out of stuff. And the mall has even more places you have to defend.
True.
Even though there's plenty of supplies in a mall, one way or another. Well, Home Depot's mostly back door, front door, side doors, and the big, metal door for bigger supplies.
Yeah.
And the garden area. But, that's kind of step one. After that, other things we could do is that if we wanted to, it'd be a pain in the butt. But kind of, it's funny because this way is literally the end of New Dawn of the Dead. Is you gas up the fucking death bus, you drive down to the dock, you find a boat that can fucking move, and then you boat wherever you fucking
You're
can.
out.
And it is for the time being,
Yeah.
Because it's not boating is trying to figure out the boat is gonna be a lot easier than trying to go to the airport and figure out a plane.
True.
And cars may or may not make it long enough. Again, with gas going, who knows? And the death bus is only going to take you so far, too. So,
okay.
That's short term, then long term.
Yeah.
What
Question
you
is,
do with that?
do we hit up the beaches?
And what? See zombie babes?
No.
In freaking in bikinis, and you look at her and she gives you that look. She's like, oh, and then the left breast falls off. You know?
God.
I'm on the right side, but that's not the point.
The right breast falls off. What do you mean by what do you mean by the beaches?
I have concerns now.
Yeah. What do you mean by the beaches then?
Well, there's boats there. There's the piers.
Well, right, but that's why I said you have to go down to the pier. You got to go down to Newport Pier and get a boat there. You go out to Huntington, you're not gonna find shit.
If there's a boat,
the beach, there's nothing on the beach because there's people out on the beach. So you'd have to go to a dock, a marina of some sort. So yeah, Newport. What is it? Marina Del Rey, stuff like that. Nearby installations where boats are more normal. But yeah, you go to fucking Seal Beach and Huntington Beach. There's not much. It's mostly all civilian beach.
Okay. Iggy, what would you do?
So I bombarded you with all that information.
And that left breast.
Can we not?
I thought you said the right one.
I'm a righty. He's a lefty.
I'm not a lefty.
This isn't the beach. This is a bathtub.
This is a Taco Bell.
All right.
Good God.
All right.
This podcast is over now.
Iggy.
Okay, we're done.
Well then, good night, everyone. Yeah, I think the best course of action, in my opinion, would be for short term is find a place to bunker down, get some supplies together, and all that. But I just don't feel like running away would work out in the long run.
So you feel like staying your ground would help?
Not exactly just not exactly staying the ground, but finding a cure or something. Finding a way.
A cure, got it.
Yes, finding a way to combat the virus, and basically slowly but surely jump-starting back against society as it was at one point.
Okay.
But that would be super long term at that point. But see, the problem about zombie outbreaks and the apocalypse and all that is that society won't stay the same.
No.
The thing, people that are confined by society's rules will start to show their true selves. So we'll have people like Negan show up more. People like mostly The Walking Dead, and
The Walking Dead has
scavengers like the people from Left 4 Dead, or not Left 4 Dead, fucking Last of Us.
Okay, right.
Like The Last of Us?
Yes.
Okay.
I say the Walking Dead and The Last of Us portray human very well. I think in that type of situation. Of course, that is a global thing, though. If it's down to global like that, then yeah, you really need to try and figure out viruses or how to cure. Mm. The only thing that worries me is that unless we have somebody on a team who's going to know that, not much more. What do we do?
Well, that's the thing. We got to find certain it's not only just finding supplies, but also finding the knowledge to help survive longer, because that's what we want as a species. We want to survive as long as possible until
it just doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now the plan would be bunker down, find a secure place like the Home Depot or somewhere else where you can.
Target has everything.
Well,
hey, it's got enough supplies.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a local thing that people will go immediately to.
That's a possibility. Although it does have a lot of food for the time being,
right.
anyway.
And then I think the next step for me is basically finding like resources.
Okay.
Not just like like already pre-made food, but things that can like sustain you, sustainable resources, like vegetables, animals, green energy, that kind of thing. That because at that point there's going to be no one pumping out the gas from the
cars, siphoning it out every now and then.
Yeah, nobody's gonna work at the oil refineries to pump out the dino juice.
Hey,
yeah,
do what
because
you gotta do.
Yeah, so not only that, but like I said, like even at like a city scale, there will be like the local gangs will start to get more violent and more aggressive because they have a chance now, since the police are more worried about trying to just protect civilians at that point.
Because I believe at that point, the law enforcement can do what they can to contain it.
Right.
But the second some, if not most, see that it's not being contained, it's going to be to the point where like, I need to survive for my family, if not for myself.
Well, I was going to say the cops are paid governmental, gangs aren't. So gangs may stick together while cops may ditch posts.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Not to say that every cop would. Some would serve by a badge of protecting and trying to serve and do what you can, but...
This is all a theoretical aspect.
Right.
So that's why I think even though Camp Pendleton might be a good idea, it might not stick for long because they're also government paid.
Correct.
Most of those people, like at least like the private stuff, they're going to go back to their families because they're worried shitless because of the outbreak. So it wouldn't be a fully staffed camp. It would be at least the higher ups would be there, but they would be severely lacking their usual manpower. Not only because like people basically deserting to protect their families, but other people that have been dispatched to actually deal with this situation. So I feel like
the main reason besides that, Camp Pendleton, the other main reason I said Camp Pendleton is that if people are leaving and they do have a lot of higher ups left over, they may be willing to try and give quick crash courses on how to use weapons if they have a armory full of things to give to civilians. Whether or not they would actually do that, who the hell knows? But here's a possibility.
Right. So that goes back to my other part, is finding people that know how to do these things and help pass on the knowledge.
So help the community.
Yes.
Okay. People
that know law, people that know farming, people that are part of the military, law and all that. First responders like firefighters and medics would be a good thing to do. Then importantly too would be the more specialized scientists like virologists and things like that, to try and fend off as much as they can, find either a temporary cure or like a permanent cure or any sort of weakness to whatever the virus is at that point. So it would kind of be standing our ground, but it would be more shifting, not exactly a full-on offense, but just trying to survive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. And there was something you said earlier about like survivors and whatnot that brings me to my next question to everyone here. It's pretty easy. You went more in depth with it, which is good. In regards to survivors out there, you kind of like tagged on it a little bit. In regards to survivors, would you take people in if you were to establish yourself a bunker? If you were to establish yourself a gated community for just you and your close ones to you, would you take in survivors when you're out scavenging, when you're out scouting, or on the way to a community? Would you take in survivors? As my part one of the question. Would you take in survivors, or would you disregard them? This is an open one. Open.
Well, as far as
I would.
survivors, I mean, it's more hired hands.
More hired hands. So you would agree on taking people in.
Yeah.
Okay. And Iggy, you would agree.
I would, but I would reluctantly, because I don't know if this person is a good person or is he just trying to, shaft me just so he can get an extra can of food or something.
Okay.
So even I would take him in and see if they're willing to contribute. And yeah, if they're just being assholes, then I would just either like kick him out or forcefully dispose of them if they become violent.
Okay. Captain?
I think as society slowly degrades, survivors slowly start becoming more issues. I think at first, when everything first starts happening and people are panicking and stuff like that, a lot of society's rules are still sort of in play in their minds.
Okay.
So taking in survivors, I think at first may actually be beneficial because you're going to have more people trying to work together just to survive. As society degrades and these rules start to disappear and people become more violent and things like that, I think you have to start then really looking at people who are trying to come in as time goes on, because people will start doing things that are even more unsavory as time goes on to survive. So at first, I think we could take in quite a few survivors that are willing to try and do that, but as time goes on, we have to be more and more careful because people are going to start resorting to raiding, going to start resorting to doing whatever, going to start resorting into that. I don't say we would stop taking survivors altogether, but I think the process and the scrutiny of taking people in would be much, much higher as time went on. Not just because of them slowly degrading society, but probably because of us at the same time. Because we would get more, be perfectly honest, you'd probably get more paranoid as time goes on because people are starting to raid and things like that. There's, the big possibility that there will be helpful communities and other people out there and other survivors that are doing that. Mm-hmm. But, let's take, and I know this isn't a zombie apocalypse, but let's take, and it's a weird example for the time being, but Fallout 76, you have 3 major factions in there that are, although differently inherently, they have different principles in what they do, but they are trying to work with each other. The Free States, the Responders, and the Brotherhood of Steel. But you have raiders, too, and they're a big problem as well. So you have to be careful with who you let in and whatnot, and it gets worse over time. When supplies run lower, when people get more
aggressive.
Well, not just that, but they slowly lose their humanity, whether it be through mental or whatever. So the people you kind of get at the beginning, even if they're all panicking and stuff, I think some of the rules, even though at that point they may be out the window, to some people they'll still be there for the time being, and that's why you kind of set up your thing for the time being with those people. And as time goes on, you don't disregard the rules for you, but you have to be more careful with people that you let in because they have been living who knows how for how long. I also want to just... this is a weird observation. It's just to me.
Okay.
When we did all this here, I thought The Last of Us, and I thought he's Joel.
Who's he?
Joel. Squatcho here is Joel because he's caring about him and his own self to get out or whatever. He's the Fireflies because he's trying to find a cure.
Iggy.
And I'm Tommy. Yeah, Iggy's the Fireflies trying to find the cure, and I'm Tommy, the one that set up the community in the middle of the dam with the renewable energy, and knowing that we may never find a cure, but I'm trying to keep our society as best as possible out in the middle of nowhere.
Okay, comment down below if you feel like you can agree with that, with Captain Falco's observation of the Last of Us and the characters distributed between them. I played the game a little bit, not too much, but I've been told from the Captain himself in regards to some aspects of the game, but not everything. But let's get back to the topic at hand for the community, now that we've established the first question of the survivors. When you take in those said survivors, there's an open question, so it's either A or B, and then you could progress your arguments from there. Would you keep your community with an iron fist, or would you attend to them with care? So if we were to put it in Walking Dead terms, would you be like Rick, or would you be like Negan?
I think that's not a correct analysis.
No?
To be perfectly honest, because Rick becomes more aggressive as time goes on as well, in order to keep his people alive. Yes, he's more caring, but
So
he
I think
willingly executed people in the prison. He willingly executed Shane. It's not that he's not caring, but he definitely does, come down on it. Especially at the end of like the season 2 of The Walking Dead, where he basically says,
Spoilers.
"Yeah,
I'm throwing that out there. I am throwing that out there
so
right now.
long. Rick's not even on the show anymore."
Okay, I am just throwing that out there right now before anything else, because some of our viewers may or may not have seen it.
All right. In either case, like at the end of season 2, after he kills Shane, after he goes through all that, and he tells him basically, "It's my way or the highway from now on. You live under me, and we do it my way. I will do my best to protect all you guys, and I do care about you guys, but you don't do stuff out of my turn, and if you don't like it, you can leave." I think that the Rick to Negan comparison, although yes, Rick is definitely more caring than Negan, I do believe, especially in certain parts. He's so infected. I mean, we're gonna turn by the end of this. I do believe at certain parts, especially in the show, that he's just as ruthless as Negan on a different level, mind you, and not so much that he's just gonna take things from other people, because that is basically a freaking mob and extortion and protection. But to say that Rick is the kind and not dictatorial thing is, I think, incorrect. Whether or not I would be, or whatever we would be, or whatever in any case of dictatorship or anything, I think I don't think it would do that specifically. I think you'd probably still need to have somebody on top as like a leader position for a kind of down to the wire decision in case. I guess more almost like what we have now, but with a lot less arms. So you got a couple of people that have some decision powers, people who are in charge of security, people who are in charge of this and whatnot, and one person, either that council of people that are in charge of things, decision making, or one person that kind of oversees that. So it's almost more like a company, really. You have a board of people that are in charge of specific things, and you have one person that can kind of break a tie, or a chairman that kind of give a order to it.
Okay.
I'd try and be nice as possible, and do what we can. But obviously, kind of like what Iggy said, if people become more problematic, you either force them out or you handle it yourself.
Okay.
And at that point, if you do handle it yourself, yes, it may make you come off like a complete dickbag that you shot somebody or whatever, right? But it does mean that you mean law one way or another, and you're going to do whatever to keep your people alive. If I'm running protection things like Negan, then that's a whole other problem. That's a whole other problem. That's a mob. That really is. He may not be the traditional Italian mob, but
it's there.
Yeah, well, same basic principles.
Yeah.
Okay. And what about you two?
Well, I try to be as caring as possible, like kind of Falco said. But when it comes to basically down the wire decisions, or in case if the society starts to break down, I mean, the more society decides to break down, the more aggressive you're gonna have to be in order to maintain that order. So that would be pretty much that would be the downside, but it would also mean that it would also say that you mean business. So.
Okay, so you will go with the route of having to care for the community as much as you can until it becomes more problematic, and then from there you would change to being that of an iron fist.
Yeah, pretty much.
So you'd start as the more caring community, but you would evolve into a dictatorship.
Not really. Yeah, pretty much.
Because at that point.
Yeah, at that point. Is that?
I understand it. I think, unfortunately, like, if it continues to go on like that you're gonna you're either gonna get forced into that position, or somebody else takes over for you and you
makes a decision for you.
Yeah, right. So it's like,
well, I mean, yeah, it's, I mean, like I said, try as soon as that you're willing to make dictator, roles.
Decisions.
Yeah, pretty much. And then once everybody still just goes back, we'll still be the same kind of carrying the same as always. You just gotta show them your nice side and your evil side if you had to.
Sorry,
Okay.
I laughed at the
evil side. I know, right?
I wouldn't have said it that way. Of course, I'm the I don't know, not the politician, but I would have been like, you're more, strong with something. I wouldn't have been like just straight up evil side. But yeah, I get you. I get what you mean. Iggy?
Yeah. What about you? Do you feel like you would be
Reggie?
Jesus.
No. Do you feel like you'd be Iron Fist, or would you be with Open Heart? I don't know why I talk like this.
In Russia, an Iron Fist hits you. I don't know. I screwed that one up.
Open Heart hits you.
Yeah, there you go.
I think for me, I would. Honestly, I think I would. I would go in with an Iron Fist.
Really? Straight off the bat?
Yeah.
Okay. Why is that?
Because as much as I would like to help out other people, I need to make sure that I'm just not gonna fuck around if you're gonna be a dick about it.
Okay.
And
Wait, so are you saying you would be an Iron Fist to make sure people were nice to each other?
yeah. Well, it's more like trying to keep order in between people. Because, yeah. I lost it.
You lost your train of thought there. Go ahead and get back to it. Yes, you would rule with an Iron Fist because...
Yeah, I think what you're trying to say is you wouldn't want... Like, it needs to be done, and it needs to be done one way, and if you're going to sit there and just argue about it, it's just going to waste time and more resources,
Right.
and people may get killed, so you have to kind of put your foot down and be like, do it this way, and if they don't want to do it that way, well, then you do whatever you got to do to
Right.
make it happen.
Like, for me, I would rule with the Iron Fist, but I wouldn't be completely, how do you say it? I wouldn't be unreasonable about it. Like, I would keep, a strict, order on things, but if something does need to be changed, I would make a change.
Mm-hmm.
How would you make a change? Like, would you make a change like immediately, like right then and there, or would you give them the plan and then like if the plan doesn't come through, that's when you start bringing out negative Iggy?
No, it's more, I think what he's trying to say is like it's more like if Plan A doesn't work, then we go to Plan B. If Plan B doesn't work, it goes to Plan C.
Would it be more aggressive the more the plans go by, or
It would just be trying something different.
with the same Iron Fist attitude, or
Yes.
okay, that's what I was trying to figure out.
Yes. I wouldn't be like the dude from fucking what's his face?
Which one?
Woody Harrelson from fucking
Oh, from
Rise of the
Planet
Planet
of the Apes?
No, I wouldn't
Where
be
he's
like
in
that.
charge of the military unit and he's like, yeah, okay.
No, I would
Good movie.
I would be a little bit more like I guess you could say Big Boss, where everyone has a role and everyone has a thing to do, and
Peace Walker, Big Boss.
Yes, Peace Walker, Big Boss, not Phantom Pain or.
Well, Phantom Pain is pretty similar, but that's not that's another problem.
Yeah. More Peace Walker, Big Boss, and less of that one or
Metal
That
Gear
one.
1 Big
Metal
Boss.
Gear 1 Big Boss. Yeah. Everyone will
Wait,
have
that
their
would be or Metal Gear 2. But wait, okay.
Metal Gear or Metal Gear 2.
Now I've gone cross.
Both.
I've gone cross-eyed.
both.
There's too many doppelgangers. There's too many weirdos.
I've seen some things.
Why not both?
Oh.
Yay!
So yeah, it would be more like if you are trying to rebuild society, there has to be like at first there has to be an Iron Fist to make sure everyone knows their role and not to cross the line. It would be a little bit of a martial law at that point, but it's between civilians, and since there isn't much like government reign over things anymore, we would have to be basically our own little government of sorts.
Well, even if you're a dictator, it doesn't mean you're an inherent asshole. There have been some benevolent dictators. Not everybody, mind you, but
Right.
the ones you hear about are the ones that are the assholes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. I just realized I have yet to put my input into all
Any
the
of
questions.
Any of this.
Yeah. So
yes, no, yes, liquors, and no.
there you go. There's my Scantron.
Perfect.
Okay. Is the test over?
Perfect. Let's get Cyclops in here. Let's get the bat going. We got this all set up.
Do our own stunts, everything.
Oh God. Okay.
Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
No.
Oh God. Okay.
Wolverine, bring me a cheese pizza.
Bring me a taco.
Yes, sir.
Taco rule.
Okay, all right.
You sounded like George W. Bush right there.
I tried.
Let's try and do this so you don't do it as long as we took for all of us. But all right, how would you?
Yeah. Let's see. My version of a zombie apocalypse. It would be that, like how I said earlier, of deteriorating, and the hungrier they get, the faster they get, because they still have that hunger, they have that drive to bite into something. And I feel like when they eat, it fills up their stomach at a point. Obviously, they're going to keep going, keep eating, keep biting, and whatnot. But I feel like the more they ingest, the slower they get. And in time, based on what kind of a viral outbreak it is, or if it's just a reanimation, depending on what it is. If it's with mutations, it would be one hell of a show, because that would be interesting to see. I will very much, as horrific as it sounds, would like to see Left 4 Dead kind of creatures come into play. I would like to see.
Dear God.
Right? I know. It's horrific, but I would like to see it happen. I would like to see some Resident Evil creatures come into play. I do not want the Tyrant. Excuse me. I don't want
the Rhino.
Yeah, no, I don't want any of those. No thanks. I'm okay with like liquors, the dogs.
Dogs are understandable. The liquors, though,
yeah,
wow, fuck, they're terrifying.
Yeah, the hunters, is that what they're called? The big green scaly guys.
Yes.
Yeah, the hunters. The oh my god, what's his name? The one that's in Resident Evil 5 with the hood. Executioner?
Oh,
yes.
Oh,
yeah, that big old guy with the big old axe. He looks cool. He reminds me of Pyramid Head. I could imagine him and Pyramid Head having a fight against each other. That'd be pretty cool. But that's a different topic. That could be done the next show.
Pyramid Head is a whole nother.
Well, yeah,
we could also use that for Squadron's Corner.
There you go. Yeah, there you go.
There you go. You and Dad. There's your first one.
Yeah.
That could be your first one.
Yeah, popping right there. Squadron's Corner. As for like the zombies, like I said, it's probably a hybrid ingested with how much they eat, and mutations, like I said, based on what it is. Could be weather, could be radiation, could be even like man-made that's caused it to become a mutation. Just based on how Squatch said earlier, based on body type. Maybe the body itself could make it a mutation in its own self. Maybe it's like a bigger, muscular man could actually get more human strength than normal, or
I figured there would be some of that. But
yeah.
I just like. In some games, whatever, it's even it's enough that this big giant muscular man now apparently has the strength to throw a whole car, and it's kind of like I think that's a bit much.
You okay?
But but yeah, I was just saying like that would be. I think there would be some of it, but not nearly as exaggerated.
Not nearly as exaggerative. Yeah, of course. As for my game plan, based on where I'm at and where I live, I would very much go to if I haven't already owned one, which I probably should considering how I am, go to a Big 5 store and get what's it called?
A rifle?
No, a hunting knife. I'll get a hunting knife and get some bows and arrows. If I can find a crossbow, I'll take the crossbow. Because in my opinion, yes, assault rifles, pistols, and the like, they are useful against, humans because they are useful because unlike the dead where they may be the slow types, humans are a much more of a fear factor than that of zombies because yes, you fear the dead, but as they've said in The Walking Dead, it's like you fear the living more because they're the most dangerous out of them all because you can trust them, but within a second they can turn on you. And I feel like if it were just without the aspect of the other survivors or raiders, if it were just the dead, I feel like arrows and knives would be more of a quieter approach because if these zombies that were to come into the real world, if they were to implement the fact of having to use sound and sight instead of smell, then that would be a scary aspect because you have to not only be careful of where they can see you, but where they can hear you. So with that in play, a bow and arrow would work very well, and you can make arrows out of the trees and out of the branches. You just whittle it enough to the point where you can make it sharp on one end and enough to the point to use it as an arrow. It looks like you want to say something. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I don't disagree with you, although I'm a little concerned. Your choice of zombies make that hard. Because you have a lot. Say you have a lot running at you. You can't.
Well, no, of course you can't just like reload instantly and just keep going.
I would also say that although I do agree with your plan of getting weapons, especially if you're going to do like that, and I know how close you are to a big 5, so it makes sense. I would still probably take a rifle just in case.
Yeah, but knowing the community, they're already going to get that. They're highly going to get like the rifle, or excuse me, not the rifle, the bow and arrow or the crossbow. Maybe the crossbow because it's easier to use.
You may never know. You may get lucky. Who knows? People may have turned before they even got a chance to go big 5. But yeah. I'm just saying, like if it was there, I'd probably grab one in case, or a shotgun, just to in case. Obviously, those are surprisingly easier to get than a handgun because they're hunting based.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, I'll probably get that first. As much as I want to get firearms, it'll be.
Well, we can cross out that gun store that's literally on the freeway, off the freeway.
That one over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can go to that one, but like he said, you worry about other people coming.
Yeah, because more likely.
I'm sure about that.
Well, because here's the thing, because the fact that you go to the. To weapons store like that, like especially with guns, because that's what everybody's gonna go for. Everybody's gonna go for a gun. Everybody's gonna go for a gun.
And then you gotta worry about
them using it on you.
Well, not only that, but you also gotta worry about by going there, you also put yourself in danger of anyone who went there and got infected and stayed there.
Or attract the crowd. Attract the horde.
Right. That's why I pick Home Depot because at least you have like melee things going for you and quiet, right? And then I would. Within like a little while after people are already pretty much starting to go, you got survivors in certain areas and whatnot, and people are gone, then you go check the gun store to see what's left. Because even though by then it may be completely empty, you may get a couple of straggling things, anything at that point.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that, like you said, that's where people go first. People are going to go first to try and arm themselves. So I go to the alternative and see what we can make out of,
Yeah, to defend themselves and whatnot.
Right, so.
Yeah, so that is my plan so far. Like, just go into Big 5, arm myself with some quiet weaponry, take any extra knives I need to, because knives are always going to be important. And there's like a what is it? A Save for Less or something like that? I forgot. It's a grocery mart. It's a super center. And it's a pretty big warehouse, and honestly, a lot of people are gonna go there to get
Smart
stuff.
Final?
Huh?
For Smart Final?
I think it is. I think it's Smart Final. I know it's a super center. That's all I know. I will go there and try to hunker down what I can because I know it's a big warehouse enough, and people will try to raid it. But considering, I don't know why, a lot of people will go for Target than that of Smart Final. For some reason, I feel like they would.
I think it's because Target is an all-around thing. You
Yeah.
probably can pick up more tools there. Smart Final is going to be mostly food.
Yeah. I'll try to hunker down there for a little bit, but knowing me, how I know how to maneuver around like ropes and whatnot, I'll try to tether down like an arrow to Target to Big 5, like those smarts around there, and just like wheel myself to the other side.
To be fair, I want to see freaking Specs' defense systems. That's what I want to see.
Oh, there's gonna be a lot of good stuff there.
No, I know, but I want to see it because I know what you used to make in Minecraft. Like I remember the gauntlet runs. I remember like the stuff you go into the whatnot.
Oh my god!
And you got freaking bow and arrows firing at you at all different angles and shit like that. Like as soon as you make one of those, like let me come in the back door and I want to look at it because I know.
Oh, there's no back door.
Well, then how do I get up there without getting skewered?
Oh, you don't have to worry about that. I'll be the one maneuvering you. So
okay.
So you know that game of like keep talking till it explodes.
Okay.
Yeah, think of it like that. It's like I'm gonna talk you through everything. This is what you're gonna do.
Otherwise, I'm Indiana Jones in that shit, and I don't know if I'm actually.
Hey, good idea.
Shut up.
Don't step into the light.
Oh, Squatcho. Only got his toe.
Oh.
Like, what? You gotta chop it off now.
Yeah, it's gonna get septic.
Fine.
Oh.
It's the wrong foot.
Mother.
Hold on. Well, you'll forget all about that when Cyclops come with the bat around the corner. Don't worry about it. That'd be really funny if you went through the whole dungeon and, like, at the very end, the last line of defense was just some dude with a bat that looked like broke Cyclops.
None shall pass.
There you go. There you go.
I have concerns.
That's why this is the crazy enough to work. Anyways, let's see. And for survivors, honestly, wait. Before I go to survivors, I'll try to bring along as many of my friends as I can that are near me or who I'm with. Because honestly, we won't know when it's going to happen or when it's going to hit. All I know is I'm going to hit a Big Five. I'm going to want to hit Big Five because they have a lot of stuff that we can use. And from there, just go to the nearest food mart and we'll take as much as we can. But I would very much like to hunker down somewhere where it's a big warehouse, maybe a Costco or something like that. Because I know they have enough food, but we can manage to go from one area to the next. And I'll pick up as much friends as I can along the way there. Because as much as I love to go lone wolf, it's better to go with friends that you know would have your back on this.
Well,
and you've discussed it before, too.
Yeah.
Like here and now.
Right. And, you know, I mean, lone wolf's going to have some benefits, but, like, if you're fucked a lone wolf, you're fucked.
Yeah.
Like, if you got people with you, you might still be able to figure something out and get out. But, you know, I also thought, while you're saying warehouses and whatnot, as much as, like, Costco and stuff would be, like, ideal, it's so big, you have to clear the whole fucking thing. Mm-hmm. Same thing with the Home Depot, obviously. But, like, once you kind of get a plan and you get enough supplies together, maybe it would be beneficial to move to like some of the commercial districts to the south, like in Irvine, where they have like commercial warehouses for like businesses where there's not as many people around. It would only probably be the employees, and they have a big area in the back. They have a big like thing or whatever. You can board up the front, keep your things in the back, and still have enough room for some beds and whatnot. Like It might be worth it. Obviously, you do put yourself out of range of certain supplies and stuff, but if you got the death bus from Home Depot, like it's not as bad.
And we're back to square one.
I'm just saying.
Let's get that death bus rolling now, shall we?
Oh god.
I also realized as we've been talking that even though you touched on a certain part of it, you haven't touched on a bigger part of it. A major problem for specific places. And that would be, because you touched on it and said when I was talking about getting an electric car and stuff like that, that as long as the electricity was still working. And I said we bring up renewable green energy and everything, which Iggy eventually said at one point. What I neglected to realize is that if you are next to a nuclear power plant, with people not checking on that thing is going to go
nuclear.
Critical to an extent that is not safe. I do know the nuclear power plants down here are supposedly just decommissioned and they're being like cleaned out and whatnot. Although I heard that's going horribly as well. But like that may be okay here, but it may not be okay in other places where they're still heavily dependent on nuclear energy. Because that could be a major problem. You get Chernobyls all over the place, you know.
This is true. But theoretically, let's say they're contained.
Like that's a major issue though. Like that, I don't know about contained. Even if you contain as best you can, a couple weeks, it has to have some sort of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's like a major problem. And a lot of places in the United States, is just for example, still use them in one aspect or another. I'm not saying the whole country would be fucked, but you got major areas that are bad.
Like Fukushima and Chernobyl.
Right. Well, I said Chernobyl earlier.
Yeah.
But Fukushima, yeah. And that's a major modern area with a lot of people.
That was recently.
Yeah. And that's just, based off of just issues or mistakes that popped up. So how many of those do we avoid in a day when people are watching it? When people are not watching it, how bad is that going to get?
Yeah.
True.
And that's retrospective. Any major disaster in which a lot of people are dead, whether it be, like he was saying, like the dollar flu or whatever, and we're just dying and not turning into zombies. But
yeah, no, that's a good concern to put into play. Where did I leave off at? Oh, the survivors. It's a touchy subject, to be honest. Like how everybody's already told their side where they're like yes, but got to take in consideration of this. I agree with everybody here where it's like, yes, I'll take survivors, but I'll be cautious in regards to it because, like I said earlier, it could always just flip of a switch and they could turn on you. And it's never a good thing to have that because obviously it's a survival thing. And more likely I want it to be a team thing. I would like to help everyone else get better. I would like to make sure that they are surviving. Like if somebody gets bit, where did you get bit at? I got bit at my leg. Chopping it off, sorry. Like it's you want to stay alive or do you want to die? It's one of the two. And at this point, I'll try to find people like how Iggy said, which wasn't in my plan, and implicating it right now, that to find people who have a certain special set of skills that could help the community grow. So it is a good thing that you said that, Iggy, because I never took that into play. Honestly, it was going to be my close friends and family. That's it. But
and the close friends and family can learn over time on certain stuff, and you can read about stuff.
Yeah, I was about to bring that up.
But it would be much easier if you did have somebody that you could work off of to show you
and
exactly
show
how.
else.
Right.
Yeah.
Obviously, depending on what the case is, there may be few and far between, but that's where the reading comes in.
Yeah.
The rest is
Yeah, of course. No, it's going to do that with the community. Is like, if you have any books, take them with you. It's like, they're just kids' books. Take them for the kids. Take them for like simple things. Shoot, maybe in the actual books themselves could actually bring up a lesson or something that we can learn from it. Who knows? So it'd be good to always have books with you. And then if there's certain books that you don't care for or feel like you're not going to be good or useful, use that as firewood. Use that as a way to burn some stuff or to burn something to start a fire. Something like that. But that's pretty much my whole plan as to how to ascertain in the zombie apocalypse. Obviously, you guys are included into it, so hopefully when and if, knock on wood, it does happen, this is plastic.
I know it is.
Knock on wood. Let me check the plastic. Is that wood? God. That's probably faux wood, but it's close enough.
Close enough.
Well, I mean, that's the consideration to me, too. Like I said, I'll be grabbing whoever I can, who I know,
and
to try it. Right.
Yeah.
Deuces, I'm out.
Yeah, unlike him.
Unlike the Squatch, who's just going to go back to his home planet.
But apparently that's the plan with most of things anyway, so...
Well, you got to meet the population there.
Yeah, there you go, yeah.
It's just going to suck when or if, it does happen, and I can get a hold of you guys, and we can meet up.
Yeah.
But then we can't get a hold of...
everyone else.
Someone, who knows, fucking Drew, Tom, whatever, and we're like...
You're just waving your hands.
But you know what I mean. Like, you're sitting there going like, I'm trying to get a hold of freaking Frost, and I can't get a hold of him. Do we go looking for him, or do we...
Well, at that point, we just have to make another plan. We just have to make another plan of like, okay, this is happening. We're going to meet up at this place at this time.
Well, no, and I understand that. But, still counter on that of like... If we make that plan and we go, hey, we're going to meet up here and we're going to do this, and they don't show up, but most of us did.
Yeah.
Do we go looking for them, or
do we not?
Do we not? And then the worst part is whoever goes looking for them, if they That sucks. If you go to a house and you find dead people, or you find them zombified, and it's even worse, and you gotta put them down, or you gotta run away screaming and sad. It's
Okay.
But it's just more consideration and thought on that.
True. Well, thank you guys for giving.
I feel like that's a topic for another day.
Yeah.
Right. I know.
It could be another topic. Yeah.
It just I know. It was just kind of the thing of like zombie like thing and whatnot. That sucks.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So thank you guys for joining me on this conversation. It was something that I want to try out and do, and hopefully another topic comes into play later on for the game and put that aspect from there. So to finish off, besides your sign off, I want to go ahead and ask, what kind of a zombie would you be? Do you want me to start off? I can start off. Or someone else want to start it?
I don't know. Go ahead and start off.
You do it.
Okay.
First.
Okay. For a zombie, for me, I would see myself as the hunter, like in not Resident Evil, in Left 4 Dead.
Oh, in Left 4 Dead.
Left 4 Dead. I feel like I'm more of a jumper, I'm a climber kind of aspect. I can see if I were to be mutated into a zombie,
Like
I'd be
Diddy
something
Kong?
like that. No, not like Diddy
No,
Kong.
that's the jockey.
No
That's the
modifications.
That's right.
That's
The jockey was Diddy Kong.
No modifications here. Just straight up mutated. The horror aspect.
I was gonna say like. Technically, the Hunter Resident Evil still does that, although he looks like a giant ape thing.
Yeah. Well, you've seen me. I'm not like that.
No.
Lizard.
Lizard ape.
Yeah,
something like that.
yeah.
I can't remember.
It's Danky Kang. That's what that
Oh,
is.
God.
It's
No,
thing he
please
came
no.
with a face like.
Yeah.
All right, so that's him. What about you?
I'm so
Squash.
You're still debating?
Yeah.
All right, Iggy, do you have yours?
I think if at that point I was past the point of no return or anything, I think I would like to be more like a G mutation like Birkin.
Oh.
Dear God.
Oh, wow. Which stage? All of it, or just like...
Well, he
It really
through all the
depends.
stages.
Yeah.
I guess.
Well, because the G.
That's a
G one is-
sucky way to go, though.
Yeah, well,
Like, it's cool. Like, it's good. You're going to survive and be this monstrosity thing, but you losing your humanity slowly is just...
you're a
Yeah.
zombie at that point, so you might as well go out and
Well, yeah,
fucking
but...
blaze of glory.
Right. But a G, you're going to be cognitive of it for, like, 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck. Me, fuck. I'm just gonna go with traditional zombies, but specifically, I'm the one that's in the corner. Because I like, because you know me, if I can sneak up on you, I will, and I'd be like, hey, and you'd be like, whoa, like right behind you. I'd be that one in the corner just kind of standing there, so that when you like walk in the room, you're like, are you alive or you not? That way, you just be like that. So then you walk in the room and be like, and
Like,
grab
pounce
me.
on them.
And then just fucking, I'd probably, because let's be realistic, if zombie apocalypse happens, we'd probably just turn into regular old ass zombies. So if
Yeah.
I'm gonna be a regular old ass zombie, I'm gonna keep my element of surprise.
Fair enough. It's fair enough. Yeah, you can go traditional and just go for the pop surprise zombie.
If crazy mutations do happen, then I want to be a fucking. I'd probably be something close to her fucking. I don't know, probably a charger.
The Charger. I
I
was
want
gonna
to say like
Charger.
I'm like in a tank because I'm not tall enough to be that, regardless of if I'm strong or not. But I sprint normally, so if I'm sprinting a zombie and I'm throwing all my weight into it, yeah, probably like a charger. At least to
Okay.
knock him down. I don't think I'd be able to be pick him up and slam him in the ground, but that way. All right, Squatch.
From the sound of him, it sounds like he'd be a spitter. Or a liquor. Or not a liquor, a smoker. Yeah, a smoker.
Smoker.
I was gonna say boomer, but okay.
You gotta grow that
I thought I was a
tongue.
smoker. That's a different smoker.
Grow out that tongue? No.
He's there.
Like Toad.
No. As far as like Left 4 Dead zombies, I'd see myself as a boomer.
Really?
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Spread my love all over.
Oh.
God. All
Well,
that
we
bile.
walked into that conversation, Wars.
Oh.
Alright, and Resident Evil? I don't know. I always wanted to see myself as a liquor.
I could see that. I mean, he could perfectly play off as Mr. X.
I don't think he's enough buff.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like just playing off as him, but You could be stage 1.
You know what? You know what I think you could be?
What?
You're that really weirded, stretched out hunter that's in that Dead Aim.
God damn it! No, not that hunter. No, not that hunter. No.
Liquor would be interesting.
Yeah, that'd be scary.
But then I'm kind of laughing. That
you know what? I could see him as a liquor. I hate because it's from the movie, but like, he could be like that giant first liquor that comes out in the first Resident Evil movie.
You're talking about after it mutates?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I was gonna say, though, your liquor choice confuses me because then I think you really should have been the smoker because of the tongue.
Yeah, but hey, thank you guys again for joining me on this conversation. Hope to see you on the next one. I'll be sure to make a topic for that, and I hope everyone did like the podcast, and if you did, hit the like button down below and subscribe. There will be some more podcasts in the future, along with an audio play that hopefully I can get cleaned up a little bit, and you guys will enjoy. It is the original script that I have concocted from a game, but until then, thank you guys again. This is the Zombiecorps signing off. Go ahead, whoever wants to start off.
This is El Squatcho.
Just Iggy.
And Captain Falco saying goodbye, and we'll see you soon.
Good night.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Good night and good luck.
Oh, we should get back into that game.
Yeah.
I've got it free times, and I bought it once now.
God, he's changing. He's changing.
I told you it was going to happen by the end of the podcast.
God damn it.
All right, hold still. Hold still. Okay. All right. And
Hold still.
Stay spectacular.
Watch out.
Stay spectacular out there, everyone. Bye-bye.